Today is a very exciting day because I get to talk about Anthem, which is a new synthesizer plugin from Universal Audio. It runs natively on both Mac and PC, so you don't need any UA hardware. I'd like to thank my friend Tim Condon at YSL Pro for hooking me up with a copy of this ahead of its release date. I've recorded some musical examples that I'm going to play for you. Before I play it, I'm going to assign a MIDI knob to the filter. So they've made it really easy to do this. You just click Learn, and now it's ready for me to touch something. So I'm going to touch the filter, and I'm going to turn a knob on my MIDI controller, and there you go, it's working. So I'm just going to play this from the top. Right from the first note I played with Anthem, it reminded me of Stranger Things, so I kind of have a tip of the hat to 11 and the gang with a lot of these examples. I've got two presets that I'm using in this, and the first one is called Magistrate. And what I like about this is it's got that movement. Let's go back and play it. This movement with the filter, and it took me a bit to figure it out because I don't have the manual, but this mod section here, it's the envelope that is affecting the filter. So over time, it sort of moves around. If I do this, it just stops, but you can use the LFO as well. Or do them both together. This is crazy. Okay, so in this second example, I've got a whole bunch of different presets happening. So This was a happy accident, this Chiptune 3 preset. I was just scrolling through and it came on and I was like, wow, that is so wacky and fun. So it's actually using the sequencer that you go in here. You can control, gate, pitch, velocity, and global. Yeah, so it can give you like an ARP sort of thing. So there's bass-o-matic, which is the bass sound, which you heard, and there's aeroplane. Let's double check what that is. Okay, so that's another one that's using the sequencer. And then it starts with a preset called Disconnected that I love this. It's so like spooky. And you can see like this middle part, it's 4 voices. I think that's what it is. Once again, I don't have the manual, so I'm just guessing here, but it seems to be like the 4 voices of the synth. So we've got Stellar Door here. There's 2 of these. I'm not sure why they're different. I must have done something here. So that's Stellar Door, and then this is, oh, Juniper 2. Okay, so I didn't rename that last one, so it's actually a different preset. But they're just, yeah, so like wonderfully analog sounding and interesting, and like, the pitchiness of the interaction with the oscillators and everything. So I'm just going to take a minute to go over the user interface. What do you call it? The GUI. So it just opens on Anthem Start, and you can see on the left here, I've got oscillator 1 and then oscillator 2. And then on the mixer, you can have the volumes for the oscillators. You've got noise that you can bring in. I'm just going to turn it up so it's not so quiet. Okay, so anyways, so that's white noise, pink noise. And with the oscillators, I like that you can get into this fine tune very easily here and make it all kinds of warpy. And you've got lots of different choices for the oscillator types, like all these different pulse numbers. And you've got a sub here, a lower octave. There's this warp section that I'm just going to put these back to 0. Let's see. Can I do this? Yeah. Okay, so we're just listening to the warp. And then the mod. Which is cool. That's, I think you're seeing that it's the filter envelope is affecting this, but if we change it to the LFO, it gets pretty nutty. There's pitch mod. Whoops, I'm going to turn this back off. Stop that. And then LFO for that. So we can go over to the filter. Let's go up to this, which I already talked about a bit. There's a drive control for that. The cutoff, obviously. And it's got resonance. Let's open up the filter more. There's our resonance and the growl on that. It's kind of buzzy. And then we obviously see this envelope here is modulating the filter. and then the sequencer obviously is going to be able to sequence stuff. Down here we've got a chorus. Which is pretty nice. Modulation effects. There's like phaser, a couple flangers, and warble. Here's your flanger. And then warble's really cool. It's kind of sickly. I like that. And then you've got the space effects, which is switching between echo, spring, and room, it looks like, or hall, yeah, which is cool. Let's do some echo. Make that go on forever. Okay, enough of that. And then over on this side, you've got the filter envelope and the amp envelope and the LFO control itself for the speed and the tilt and the shape of that. And then you can get into the mode between paraphonic and monophonic and unison, which is like stacking the voices. Cool. Legato, and you can detune it. Which is awesome. Let's see what it does in paraphonic with detuning. Didn't seem to do much there. I think that's more going to work in unison mode. So then you've got the voice section and the control for the mod wheel. So I'm moving the mod wheel up and down, and it's set to vibrato right now. Which is crazy. There's like filter cutoff, I think. And then the rate of the LFO, which isn't assigned to anything right now, but if it was, it would change that. And then you've got glide, of course, makes the notes slide up and down. So that's fun. And then you've got a master tune and an output volume. So it's really ergonomically set up. So it's easy to understand where you are and what you're doing, not too intimidating for just an intermediate user like myself. So now I'm going to just jump over to a third song example. That's very melancholic, let's say. So I've got these three presets. First one is Thiac Sub Bass, and I just love the sound of this preset. It reminds me of the movie Annihilation with Natalie Portman, and that like scene at the end with the lighthouse, and it's just terrifying that there's this thing about this. I don't know if it, yeah, when you move the modulation wheel. It just reminds me of that. So that's cool. And then I've got Juniper 1, which is, what is that again? Let's see, make it happen. Right, so that's the one I've got arpeggiated, which is a really nice sound. And then we've got Where the Willows Grow. This is a really cool lead. You can really hear the G comp on that being affected by the side chain to the kick drum. Yeah, I love how it's just like, wow, wow. Okay, so I've got one more song example. Cool. So yeah, this one had some more of the happy accident stuff where I played a part on a preset and then I accidentally switched to another preset while I was just messing around. And then I found something that was not meant for what it ended up being. So for example, this like bass snarl is like a bass sound, but I ended up using it as a lead. And it's just really weird and cool. Okay, so let's just go from the first one. So this is Juniper 2. Which is like a pretty pad sort of sound. And then we've got Makes Echo. And then like the stab on that, the attack, is really cool, and how it very quickly decays there. So let's see, accentuator. I think I used this already on another track. Yes, I'm combining that with the Are We Square bass preset. So when you hear those two together, one is tight and one is wide, and then they just become a big bass sound. Okay, so whatever I had for this one, I got rid of. And then bass snarl I showed you. So Angelica is another preset here. And then I use it as a lead here. Which is mysterious. And then at the very beginning, we have disgusting bass. Where is it? Let's see. That's cool. It's just sort of screeching. So yeah, that's my brief overview of Anthem from Universal Audio. I'm really into this synth. This is kind of like the one that I didn't know that I needed, but now that it's out, I want it, and I'm going to use it on stuff because yeah, this analog sort of modulating sort of stuff is it's really cool. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.